Losing It 2025 is a new channel with very few followers. 39 at last count. So thank you to the 39 of you who have subscribed. You are very appreciated. I want you to know that. But as a new channel, I'm still figuring this out. I'm still finding my way. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it is that I have to offer to the bigger conversation of improving our health and losing weight. There are certain things that I know that I'm not here to do. I am not here to give you workout advice. I'm not an expert in that field, obviously. I'm not here really even to give you nutritional advice, though I'm happy to share with you what I'm doing and tell you how that's working for me. I'm a guinea pig on display, I guess you could say. But as I thought about all of this, I realized that I want to offer something of value, something a little more than just my own testimonials of what I'm doing and how it's working. And as I began to think about that, I realized that I do have some fields of expertise, at least to some extent. And one of those is in regards to the Bible and to scriptures and to ministry. I've been a pastor for over 20 years at this point in my life, and I spend a good deal of time, as you might imagine, studying the scriptures and reading the Bible. And so I began to think, what Bible verses are there out there that really apply to what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do in this channel in terms of changing my life and making improvements, and what I hope perhaps you're trying to do in yours. And so I decided I was going to be thinking about that, and that from time to time, as the opportunity arose, I would share those ideas and those thoughts with you. So that's a long preamble to say I have a scripture to share with you that I believe can be applied in a very specific way to our efforts to change and to grow and to learn. And this passage actually is not one that I think is normally associated with weight loss or with healthy living. I don't think it's one that I have ever heard applied in this particular way, and yet I think it is very applicable. At least I recognize that it's applicable to me. And so I'd like to share it with you today. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 27 says this: "Cease listening to instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge." Now, of course, the writer of Proverbs is speaking of wisdom and instruction and of spiritual truths. But Proverbs is also a very practical book. And so he's speaking also of the wisdom that is associated with living the life that God has set before us. And so that statement, "Cease listening to instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge," essentially means that if you stop listening to instruction, then even the knowledge that you had, you're going to drift away from. And to me, it's an exhortation to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to continue to draw in knowledge and information so that we can hold on to the knowledge that we have and even add to it. Now, that word listening in particular is a very interesting word. In the original language, it's shamach, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly because I am not a Hebrew scholar. I just know how to use dictionaries. Well, what that word means is to hear, to listen, and to obey. To hear, to listen, and to obey. Let me give you an example of how this might be applied. Let's say that my son is going to go work on a project that I've given him to do. And I say, don't forget to follow the instructions because they're very important. I know he heard me because, he said, yeah, okay, Dad, as he walks out. So he heard me speak, right? But he might not have been listening to what I said. In other words, he may have heard my voice, but not actually understood the words that I was saying, and it just responded, oh, yeah, whatever. But if he actually listened to me, that's a different thing, right? If he listened, then he heard what I said. Now, I might know that he listened because as I said, hey, son, don't forget to use the instructions, instead of saying, yeah, I know, he said, okay, Dad, I know, I'll use the instructions. Okay, so I know that he listened. He heard what I said, turned and repeated back to me what I said. So I know that he listened. But if even after having heard and having listened, he doesn't follow the instructions, well, then he didn't obey. And so if he didn't obey, then what he did was he ceased listening to instruction. Now, you might say, how does this apply to weight loss? Well, here's the thing. You can watch 100 videos a day on how to lose weight, on how to make positive changes in your life, on how to change your diet. You can watch lots of videos and they could be playing in the background and you could never attend to them and actually figure out what exactly they're saying. Or you could listen and actually pay attention to what they're saying, but then never go and apply the things that you've learned. Yes, watch videos, read books, do your research, but then having made sure that you understand what it is you have learned, begin in very specific and meaningful ways to apply that knowledge in your life. Because the reality is, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. If you don't apply that knowledge, if you don't actually cook those recipes, well, then you're never going to get to eat the meal that could have been made by following them. So that's a word of advice to you, a word of counsel, a word of wisdom, if you will, from the scriptures. If you like it, if you enjoyed having this little piece of instruction and you would like to see more of this kind of content, then please like, follow, and leave a comment to let me know. And as I come across various scriptures in my studies that I think applies to our situation of trying to make meaningful change to our lives, I'll go ahead and include more videos of that kind. Thanks for listening. You have a wonderful day.